Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lessons, Learning, and Readings with Larkin. I am Larkin, coming live to you from the United States. Thank you all for tuning in. I have little Wesley down here. I have a couple of my dogs here hanging out with me today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry I've missed a couple of lives, but for those of you who don't know, I'm helping my parents out. I've been hosting my father here who was in the hospital and needed some medical treatment here. I have horses that are an hour away. I have my business I'm running, plus a house full of fur babies and my husband, and lots of family visiting this summer. So I am going on about, here, let me pick Jackie up here so you can all see Jackie. Here's little Jackie Jack. Here she is. I am going on about 3 hours sleep every other night. I got 2 hours last night. So thank you for those of you who have been patient, who have stuck with me and been patient. So hi, Brenda. Hi, Linda. Welcome. So guys, as usual, I'm going to take the first few minutes to set the tone, the ambiance, lead by example, so that when you all are doing your spiritual practices, if you're communicating with your spirit guides or angels, if you're journaling or working on your manifesting, if you're praying, whatever it is you're doing, you also create this habit of setting yourself up for success. One of the ways I do that is I really work with my human self, my senses. I love to have incense and candles. Ganeshi is my absolute favorite. It's not the best incense in the world. It just doesn't have a lot of garbage in it, and it's inexpensive, and it smells amazing. Plus, I love Ganesh. I always have at least 2 drinks. I always have a water. Today I have a coffee and a sugar-free strawberry ginger ale. As you can see, my little incense burner today is a Ganeshi. And I have some of my sacred oracle cards with me today as well. But guys, I always do this. Make sure you leave your garbage, your baggage at the door. All of these things are important. I mean, I would even recommend you guys take notes. You know, I take this stuff very seriously because you are coming to these readings to connect with the other side. So you don't want to be bringing, you know, all your mindset and energy and everything from this side to that. You want to be open to receiving from the unknown, right? That's why you're coming to us. Sorry, I have a hair in my eye. So you want to be prepared for that. You know, make sure it's quiet. Make sure maybe you have a wind chimes or, you know, quiet music in the background. I love to put on, you know, ambient music in the back, maybe from YouTube or something. Anyway, all of these things are important because when you're not here with us readers and you are doing your own spiritual and personal practices, these things are really, really important. Hi, Kelly from New Zealand. Welcome. Ellisa G, so great to see you. Hi, Kawizi. Great to see you. All right. I've got you started, buddy, okay? So along with this lessons, learning, and readings with Larkin, guys, comes the lesson part. And those things are going to come throughout your readings. Lessons are going to be sneaked in there through your spirit guides and your spirit teams. Your spirit teams, by the way, are your angels, your spiritual teachers, your loved ones on the other side, your spirit guides, all different things, right? Your animal guides. Your spirit teams are there to support you during your incarnation here, okay? So they're very important as well. But I also promise Spirit, because Spirit asked me when I started reading for Veronica, who, by the way, I just think is amazing. I think this whole network she has set up is incredible. She is so picky about who she allows to read for her. And, you know, everyone she has reading on here is just amazing. And so it was interesting because Spirit said to me, hey, before you start your lives, will you please be a vehicle for us to share wisdom? Because, you know, they always know who's on here. And maybe it's not necessarily who's on here live. Maybe it's also for people who are going to be listening on the rebroadcast. but they asked me to please share wisdom that they wanted to share before I went into each broadcast. So I'm going to do that. Okay. One of the things that they want me to share with you guys today, and this tells me that there are going to be people on here listening, or people listening to the rebroadcast that need to hear this or that it resonates with, is because science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive, and we live in a world that acts like they are, it is very, very important that you all are critical thinkers and gatekeepers, that you are skeptical and yet open. And that balance can be really challenging. Okay. So by skeptical, I mean, don't go out and challenge a reader. Don't intentionally try to test them and set them up. That will always backfire on you. When someone tries to come and test or challenge me, spirit always goes silent. Spirit will say to me, hey, they're going to do this. We don't do that energy. We don't play that game. And I'm like, oh, great. What you want to do is be open and listen, because to get the validation from spirit, you should be dealing with a reader who gives you evidence, but it has to come through spirit. It has to come with spirit being able to work through the person and with the person. And each relationship we have with them is very, very different. It's different with each soul and spirit. But I always find if the audience just allows that to happen, they don't feed us information, but they're also not trying to test us. Spirit is free to amaze you, free to validate for you. As soon as there's that egoic tension to test, that's when it tends to kind of fall to the wayside. Because you guys have to understand that readings are intuitive. They are not intellectual. So when we come with an idea of something we want intellectually, that's probably not going to be satisfied. But what coincides with love, with validation, with healing, with our higher soul's alignment, that is what spirit is working with. And that's what spirit wanted to share with me today, to share with you. So yay. Okay. Let me finish saying hi to everybody and then we will get started. Please let me know where you're listening from today. I see Kelly's from New Zealand. That's great. Hi, Elaine. Great. I am awesome. I am going to let you guys know that the Meet Your Spirit Guides is Saturday the 18th. I have not been online to market it. This is the only way I've been marketing it. So if you guys think that you would like to participate and you'd really like to meet your spirit guides, what you want to do is you want to message me spirit guides to larkinsreadings@gmail.com. So I will write that in here. My sweet little Jack Russell is resting her head on my hand. So I'll see if I can switch hands with her. And I only have one hand. She's very, very cuddly tonight. But you want to just type spirit. I'm going to type this with one hand. Spirit guides. If you literally want to meet your spirit guides, learn to get validation that they are there, learn how they want to communicate with you, how they're trying to communicate with you, and to build that relationship, to get validation and proof that they're there, then this is an amazing event for you, and it's absolutely free. So you want to type spirit guides to Larkin's Readings. Larkin's Readings. Let's see. Hold on, Jackie. Sorry, I'm trying to type this with one hand, you guys. At gmail.com. Okay. And then I will send you the Zoom link and all that stuff for it. It's from 12 p.m. EDT to like 3 or 4 p.m. EDT on Saturday the 18th. Okay. All right. Let's scroll up and see who we have here. And there's always extra readings we don't get to, so I'll try to do my best here. Wales, Great Britain, Linda, love it. I'm part Welsh. I love that. Hi, Amy Jones. Great to see you. Great to see you. Elaine, Oxford, England. Oh, wonderful. Arizona, Neva, welcome. Ariel, Tampa, Florida. Oh, that sounds so nice right now. Although it's really hot here today, actually. It's really hot here. Let's see. Okay, so let's start with Kawizi here. Guys, when you ask questions today, if you could ask just something specific, only because Spirit is trying to help me to speed up in my reading so I can get to more people. I love that you're always on here, Kawizi. I love reading for you. One of the things I want to remind everyone is that when we talk to Spirit and we communicate with them, it's not like we do here. So you have to look at how your spirit, how your relationship with your loved ones has not ended, but it has merely transformed. And that also means in conversation, right? So, let's see, when we're having conversations with them, they're not going to be talking to us about the egoic things that we care about and do with each other, right? So maybe like who stole what, who did what, who's supposed to be doing what. They don't care about that stuff. So understand that when you come and you ask certain types of questions, their real concern is to validate that they're there for you, to let you know that they're there and that they're okay. That's always 100% across the board what they want first and foremost. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Miss Larkin, does my dad know about my kids that I have in heaven? I ran into Cameron's mother the other day. Did my dad leave me a feather on Monday when I went to eat with my family? So, yes, of course he knows about your kids in heaven. Of course he does. So, they're very aware of things on the other side that we are not, and that we are, that they might not have known here in this world, right? Because they can look in at us in every point of time because they're outside of time and space. They also, interact and connect with our souls, with souls in our family and our family group and our spiritual community on the other side. Okay. So they're well aware of the things that you're aware of and more. Did my dad leave me a feather on Monday when I went out to eat with her family? Yes, he did. I want to mention something about these general things like feathers and butterflies and things like that. I do answer those questions, and I go ahead and I ask Spirit when you guys ask me that. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of times people get caught up in those types of things, right? And my goal as a reader is to go beyond that. People often come to readings expecting butterflies, unicorns, birds, feathers, things like that. And they are pertinent. They are relevant. They do happen. But I also, it's even though I genuinely check in and I ask them, did you send this or that or whatever? I think we also need to be careful, though, that we're not always reading into things, right? Every feather we see is not necessarily, and this, Koizi, is not necessarily from a loved one. Every bird that comes and sits is not necessarily from a loved one. And my goal is to help all of you learn to connect and trust your intuition, which is why I have the Awakening Your Intuition program, so that you can walk through your daily life and you can walk out the door and you just know in your soul, yeah, that's from so-and-so. You will never hear me just generally go and tell everybody, oh, this feather was this and that, because it's too cliche. Those are common things, and I'm trying to read personally for you guys. If you go ahead and ask me something like that, I'm happy to share and check in with them and ask. But, Spirit also tries to come through in really unique ways and let you know. And a lot of that comes through your intuition, through your clairs, Kawezi. A lot of it comes through, like you're drawing attention immediately to seeing that feather. That's your intuition. That's your, I would say, a clairsentience feeling that comes into play there, drawing that attention to you and letting you know that they're really there and that's really who they're from. Okay. So those are great questions. Thank you. Let's see. Miami, Florida, Great Britain, Amy Jones. Hello. All right, let's see here what we have. Let me scroll down here. We have, want to miss anybody? Ariel. Okay, I got you starred. Okay, Elaine, if you could be more specific, that would be great. I like cold readings, but I'm trying to cut through the red tape so I can get to more people. Okay. So, you know, a lot of people get into the numbers. So, one is a huge angel sign for numbers. I think a lot of people know that. But when you guys are looking at numbers, I also want you to keep in mind, I saw you said 11111. I also want you guys to keep in mind that, I didn't let my incense. We're going to do that in a minute. That it's also often important to check in on the combinations of numbers, right? So like if you're saying 1111, I would also look at that and I would say 1. I would say 2 sets of 2, which is 2. I would say 3, and I would also say 4. Okay. So look into those numbers as well, because those are also going to be pertinent to you. If you see 4 1s, that's going to be pertinent to you. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's cool, Koeasy. That's so cool. Okay. Let me scroll back up here to where I have people start. Okay. All right. Ariel, let me know if you're still here. I had you start next. I'd love to hear from my cousin. He passed unexpectedly and wished so badly we had more time together. Aw. Okay, well, let's see. Let me tune in and see if your cousin comes through. A lot of times, guys, like when we call or read on one person, because they have to resonate their energy and try to get through to me, sometimes that's not the soul that comes through first. Sometimes other souls come through before the soul that you're wanting, either because they need to or because that is what needs to happen energetically or for me and my process or whoever the reader is in order to get the person that you're asking for to come through. So let me ask him to come forward here. I can feel his energy there. I'm just waiting for him to step forward so I can see him or hear him more. I see his energy there. Oh, there's Tangelo. So I'm going to share with you. Oops, I didn't have my mistake. I didn't have an incense out yet. So when I share these readings with you guys, understand that a lot of times what comes through first is just signs and symbols and images. And I might first mention things that do not make any sense. They won't even make sense to me initially. And that is Spirit's way of getting me to where they need me to be, because they will know me, they will know how I work, and they know what symbols and things will mean something to me. Okay. So if things don't make sense, don't panic. It doesn't mean they're not there. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not coming through. It just means that, sorry, I'm trying to get my incense in here. It just means that each soul comes through differently and they're coming through the very best that they can. And I have to interpret that and keep it neutral and say it in a way that you're going to understand. Okay. So right now, I see an image of sort of an average built gentleman. Looks like he's coming through with short hair. Not really getting a total age. I would have to say that the age that the gentleman that's moving forward, Ariel, is probably late 20s to early 30s. This gentleman that's moving forward, this soul that's moving forward in spirit, is wearing a long sleeve white shirt. The sleeves are actually buttoned around his wrists. I have my incense here. He's wearing just like, looks like jeans actually, with a belt. And he's just sort of walking through, and as he moves closer to me, and we are acknowledging that you have asked to bring him through, he is smiling. And he is gently trying to share that he acknowledges you're wanting to have spent more time with him. He is acknowledging that and recognizing that if he were still in human form, he would feel the same way. But on the other side, they're always happy to be there. Okay? That's home, right? And because they are with us, they never leave us. They don't miss us because they recognize there's no separation. So whereas you wish you had had more time with him here, he is at peace where he is. Okay? Let me know if this makes sense to you, please. Just yes or no, if this makes sense. Okay. Okay, yes, short hair and tall. He was in his 30s. Okay. Just picture him wearing that. Yeah. Well, that's what he's wearing. I love it when they allow me to describe them, when they show themselves to me. I'm skeptical, guys, even when I read, because oftentimes, and I really felt that he was in his early 30s when he passed, but oftentimes souls will come. They'll either come in the way you remember them, or they will come as they wanted to be in their favorite age, right? So a lot of times on the other side, people come in their 20s and 30s. Okay. So I'm glad that makes sense. He just keeps smiling. There is a graciousness there for asking about him and coming to speak with him. He said he's been trying to let you know that he's there. And his mom. Is his mom still in this world, Ariel? He is showing me that there are a few people. Just yes or no, please. He is showing me that there are people in this world that he really is trying to get through to let them know that he is okay and he's at peace and at home and joyful. And no, he doesn't miss it here, and he doesn't miss you guys, because he really wants to emphasize he hasn't gone anywhere. And he wants to emphasize that you can still connect with him. You can still connect with him. He has a desire for you guys to continue to talk to him. Okay. Hi, Davy Jones. Welcome. All right, Sarah Jane, I gotcha. So anyway, so the first person he mentions, other than his connection with you, is he's saying, yes, he's been trying to get hold of you, and he has been trying to get a hold of his mom. And he says, so he can see and feel and hear you guys, but he's giving me the feeling and the visual that you guys aren't really picking up on him the way that he would like you to. He's trying to help his mom, who I still see in this world, really overcome, which of course she's never going to fully overcome it, but overcome to a way that she can be more functional and get her life back again. He says he's showing me that she's really, really, really struggling. And rightfully so. He understands that. He's trying to come to her in places she might remember or really acknowledge it's him. He's showing me something about his car. So it looks like someone had to do something with his car, get rid of his car, or he's showing me it being transferred. So I don't know if it's being sold, given, or transferred to someone he knows. It looks like it's either going through someone he knows is handling it, or it's going to someone that he knows who needed a car. He's showing me his mom trying to handle everything that needs to be handled while grieving. And he's showing me her as inconsolable right now. As inconsolable. And he wants her to know he's okay and he's well. He's trying to get through to her in dreams. He's trying to get through to her in like with his energy, he can put weight on things. So like weight on her shoulder, a tug on her clothes, weight on a blanket. He seems to try to not so much move, but put weight or physical emphasis as much as he can on things that are very soft, like clothing or a shoulder or a blanket, in hopes that she's going to see, feel, or sense that. He shows me him walking around with her by her side, trying to tell her, it's okay. It's okay. So he also shows me the going through of items of his. Let me scroll down here and see if you validated or any of this made sense to you. Ariel. Yes, she's devastated. Okay. You're welcome, Ariel. Hi, Davy Jones. I see you, buddy. Okay. All right. That's validating. So do you guys see how that works? So isn't that amazing that spirit can do that? I don't know any of you. But spirit can come through and say, hey, mom is still here in this world. This is how mom is feeling. He's showing me like every item that she goes through is painful and is hard. Trying to see what he's showing me. He's showing me clothes. He's showing me books. There's one book in particular. I don't think it's a journal. It looks like it's maybe like leather or fake leather, maybe about this big. Maybe not that big. Maybe that big. He's showing me in his belongings, maybe like this. These are things, Ariel, you can go back and watch and listen to this video. You might not be aware of all of these items, but what I would do when spirits tend to give me items like this, hi, Tangela, is I encourage people to go back, speak to the family, look through things, tell them about it. Oftentimes you find that validation, not necessarily right here in the reading. So take it to heart, take it seriously, and go look for those things, okay? He's showing me a photograph of himself at a joyful time in his life, having fun. Looks like with a friend. It's another male. It looks like a friend. Looks like one of them has a hat on. He's showing me some things he had when he was younger that he still kind of had as a kid, like weird little things. Like pins he got somewhere, or it looks like, if I'm going through the right box of items, if these are all his, looks like a little pocket knife, looks like a pin, a pen. You can look all these things up. Looks like it's a patch or something, like some sort of symbol type thing that wasn't sewn onto something. That resonates. Okay, good. Hi, Ann Steele. But I would take this and all of these things. Let's see. Hi, Regina from Wales. Great to see you. Don't forget to ask something specific and I'll star you, okay? Yes, she's gone through his things and has given his clothes away to his friends. Yeah. Yeah, I see the friends there in the picture. So he's trying to get through to her. If you're able to communicate that to her or share this with her, please do that. It's very important, guys, because remember, the thing he wants the most is for her to know that he still exists and that he is okay. Okay, he still exists. He's okay. He's right there. He hasn't gone anywhere. And then it looks like, yeah, I can see different friends around, but it looks like one of his friends also is really having a hard time with this, and he's trying to get through to him as well. Hi, Lois. Great to see you. Let's see. Your mom, Tracy, Joe. Okay. Sorry, I'm starring you. So here's the call to action, Ariel. Really. The call to action is, like I mentioned, go to her, share this, or mention to her the things that have been, that he has shared with me, those items. He gives me the feeling of, and shares that she was an amazing, amazing mom and gave her all. He acknowledges and recognizes this. And he is trying to get through. So if you guys will set an intention before you go to sleep, his friend, his mom, you, if you guys will do that before you go to sleep, and then either set your alarm to wake up early, so maybe you're pulled out of the astral plane and you can remember, or immediately jot down what you're feeling and experiencing afterwards. That will really help, because that will help train you, your conscious mind, to register, okay, what it's experiencing with him. That's very important. So, Ariel, thank you for asking about your cousin. I'm going to send you off with him. Thank you for letting me read for you. Please keep me posted. We thank him for his validation. All right. Hi, Regina. You'll let her know. Good, Ariel. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see your message, Davy Jones. All right, let me scoot up here for a second. It's dinner time. Tangelo. All right, Ariel. All right. Hang on, guys. I'm going to scroll down here. Hold on, guys. I'm just scrolling down to the starred ones. It's okay, buddy. Okay. Let's see. Linda Owen, are you still here? Let me know in the comments if you're still here, Linda. Please. Is my mom and dad, let's see, are my mom and dad bringing all these birds and butterflies into my garden? Never seen so many birds and butterflies before. The amount of feathers in my garden, love watching them. Another question, does my dad move things around the house? That one, yes, absolutely. I can see that one. I thought I was going crazy. So again, guys, this is a really good question. And hold on one second. I need to grab something. All right. So guys, I love this question, and I'm going to answer it because it gives me an in to also remind you and mention a couple other things as well. We have to be careful of two things. We have to be careful that, number one, we don't underestimate birds, butterflies, feathers, things like that, just because they are symbolic of our loved ones on the other side. And we don't want to say, oh, they're too cliche. They don't matter. By the same token, we want to be careful that we don't rely on those as our evidence and validation, because they are overused and misused and used so often. Okay. So one of the things that Spirit likes to remind me to ask you guys is, when you're experiencing things like birds, butterflies, feathers, things like that, that you really learn to trust your intuition and your gut feeling, and know, like, if you just see a feather, does that necessarily mean that your loved one or your angel dropped that feather? No. Sometimes it's just a feather. Okay. Sometimes if you come to a reader and it might just be a feather and you didn't feel anything, and you ask the reader because you're hopeful, was this from Aunt so-and-so, or was this from my dad? And, depending on how honest and genuine and authentic the reader is, they're going to be, they might say yes. They might say no. But the really important thing here is that, like, let's say, like in this case, yes, he does move things around. The excess butterflies and birds and that in your garden, this time I will say yes, because they're trying to get your attention. Okay. And it's one way they can really get your attention, right? They often get your attention by staying a long period of time, or coming and sitting close to you, or being a unique butterfly or bird, or doing something like sitting on your shoulder or your arm. But we also have to be careful, because those things are so common and we do overuse them, that we also ask them for other things, and or that we pay attention to our gut feeling, right? Like, I have cardinals here all the time, but my grandparents come as cardinals. Every time a cardinal shows up, is that grandma and grandpa? No. I can feel it when it is. And it's usually when I'm having a hard time, or I'm celebrating something, when I've been thinking about them all day, when they have a message for me, when there's questions I've been asking them, right? So there's a correlation there. And we want to remember that these readings need to be practical. Science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. We think they are, we're taught they are not. And you really want to be able to look at these things with a practical application. Everything is energy. Your loved ones are consciousness on the other side. They are trying to get through to you in any way that they can. But that doesn't always mean they're going to be using those things. Okay. Now, as far as this is interesting, and I want to use this as a learning tool too, because this is as important that we do education here as we just do readings. Okay. Your loved ones want you to be able to read and communicate with them. They can sense and read you, and they want you to be able to sense and read them as well. So that requires you to do some learning on your end. Okay. So how does this work when it comes to things like items and things in the house, right? These are things we have to think about, because Spirit often has to use other means to interface their attempts to connect with you, right? Which is why oftentimes you see people saying, okay, their light bulb switched on and off, or their TV's got funny. This is not every time the light bulbs flicker, or the TV gets funny, that's your loved one. But They are electromagnetic energy that is conscious. So it's much easier for them to play with electricity and light and your electronic devices than it is for them to move a mug across the table, right? But they could have influence on an animal or the breeze or something like that might move an item. Okay, so yeah. So here's what I would do, Linda. I would start asking questions too. This is something I teach my Awakening Your Intuition clients, is to get these personal yes, no answers, and you learn to feel it, right? So the next time you feel something being moved, or you think that it's them, or you think you're going crazy, just ask. Say, hey, mom and dad, is that you? Now, what you want to do is you want to get the answer that comes before your next thought. The answer that comes in between the question and your next thought, that's the answer. Okay? So it will be immediate. You might have an immediate feeling and an immediate knowing. And right after that, tagging it right down is your thought. Okay? And your thought is not it. Your thought is not the answer. It's the information and awareness that came between the question and the thought. Okay? And I'm sharing this with you because really, Linda, what your mom and dad would like is to be able to have a continued relationship with you, just in another form. And not like they had with you here. Guys, Spirit doesn't need to be following you around every day, talking to you the way your spouse does, or your sibling does, or your kids do, or your neighbors. Okay. They're not interested in that anymore. They no longer have any interest in any of our egoic processes or interactions. So for you to be sitting down and talking to them about, the gossip that you have, they're not interested in that. But they are interested in helping you with real progress that you are making. So maybe it's, how do I handle this situation? How do I talk to Aunt so-and-so, and what should I do? They're interested in your well-being and the well-being of that situation. In which case, if you learn to pay attention, they will listen to you. Okay, they will listen to you about that. Linda, I will also say that you have a lot going on in that garden. So it's not just your loved ones and all the animals going on. You also have a lot of multidimensional beings passing through in that garden as well. You have a lot of fairy energy, a lot of elven energy. It's very, there's a lot of flourishing of this multidimensional energy, and that's really good. And I'm even seeing, hold on. I'm also seeing like an energy portal right there. Sort of like the edge of the garden, but the middle. You know what I'm saying? So not like if here's the garden, it's not like in the center of the garden. It's like, it would be like here, like in the center, but on the edge. There's an energy portal there as well. And that's one of the reasons why it's an easy place for them to try to get through and communicate with you. Okay, it's a lot easier because when you're on the other side, guys, you're outside of space and time, and your vibration's super high. It's super fast. So it really takes a lot of effort and energy to slow your frequency down so that you can actually connect with us here in this world. Okay, Linda, keep me posted. And I would start asking, ask for some validation and see what happens for you. Okay, see what comes through for that. And then let me know. All right. Thank you for letting me read for you. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. Lisa. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what this, let's do this here. Lisa, let me know if you're still here, please. Lisa, let me know if you're still here. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. Your granddad. Okay, I've got you starred. Oh, sorry, Linda. I just saw your Eva, let me know specifically what you want to hear, okay? Because I'm trying to be a little more efficient. I'm very thorough. You're doing that, Linda. Great. Linda says, yes, lots going on in my garden, making a memorial for your mom and dad. Yes, that came through in one of the other readings. That's amazing. I'm so excited for that. It's a great way to put your healing energy to work. Okay, Lisa says, around the last full moon, someone I had not heard from in some time reached out again. Is it true? Is it true that you have unfinished business with that person? So are you asking, Lisa, is it true that you have unfinished business with them if they reach out because of the full moon? I want to make sure I'm really understanding what you're saying, because I look at these questions very scientifically. So I want to make sure I'm getting what you're actually asking. Let me know, Lisa. Is that what you mean? Let me know if that's what you mean. So while I'm waiting for you to answer that, I will. Hi, Kels. Welcome. While I'm waiting for you to answer that, I will. So I think this is a good question, and I want to share with you about. I see you, Lois. We'll get to you. I want to talk for a second about, and as your one spirit guide says, you need to understand this better. And I don't think you're the only one that needs to understand this better. Honestly, Lisa, I think a lot of people need to understand this better. Remember, guys, these readings have a lot of education with them. And it's really important you guys understand this because there's so much misinformation out there. Hi, Regina. Good to see you again. So just because someone reaches out to you again does not mean that you have unfinished business with that person. It's very important that we stay in our own lane. Okay. Sometimes that person might have unfinished business with you that they need to work through, right? You have to look in with you, Lisa, and you have to ask yourself, are you at peace? Do you have unfinished business? We have to be very careful, guys, that our egos don't take these things that happen in spirit or these things that come through in readings and make dramas out of them. I don't know. I mean, this could make my readings popular or unpopular, and I don't really care. But it's very easy, especially in like the new age community, the metaphysical community, people that are into readings and all this. Sometimes it just becomes another form of drama. So you have to really be very, very careful. Years ago, I was training with two martial arts masters. They were literally like two of the best martial artists on the planet. But they had some karmic business going on. And I had trained with them for a while. I had known them in other lives. Our souls knew one another. And I remember when it was time for me to go my separate ways, there were things they were doing I didn't agree with, and I had learned what I needed to from them, and it was time for me to move on. And I remember one of them saying to me, and you would think that I would have believed him and fallen for what he said, because, he was older than me. He had more training than me. You would think I would be listening to my master teacher, right? But he said to me, you don't want to do this. You want to stay and train with us because, if you walk away from this now, we're going to all three have to come back and do this all over again. There's going to be all this, karma. Okay, that's not true. Let me emphasize this. This is not true. Now, in your situation, you need to look inside yourself, Lisa. Your one spirit guide's really emphasizing this. You need to ask yourself, do you have unfinished business with this person? Because what I'm seeing is you will be easily dragged into unfinished business because your egoic self is interested and curious in that, even if your conscious mind isn't. Okay. So we have to be careful of this because it's very, very, very tempting. And I remember with these teachers, I excused myself. I said, no, that's not going to happen. because you can be under someone else's karmic umbrella and you can be hit by it if you don't get out of the way, or if you're going along with what they're doing. But if there's unfinished business on someone's part, but your business is finished and you're at peace with your part and you've done your piece, that's on them. Okay. They might have unfinished business. It doesn't mean you do. The same thing with closure. Our egoic mind always says, you need this person for closure. You need closure with it. No, you don't. You don't ever need someone else for closure. Okay. And your spirit guides will tell you that. Your egoic mind will say, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But your spirit guides and your intuition, the voice of your soul, will always tell you, you can create your own closure. Okay. So this is really a call, Lisa, you're kind of on the edge. This is sort of a call you need to make and be introspective about. Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me read for you. That's a very interesting question. All right. I'm going to scroll up here. Let's see here. I see you, Kels. Let's see. Lois, I'm not quite sure. I see you, Eva. I'm not quite sure. Did I miss the first part of your question, Lois? Hold on. Let me scroll up here. See if I missed the first part of your question. I see you, Sarah Jane. I see yours too. Oh, here it is. I see. So let me try to do both of these. Let me do this one first. Then I'll just have to scroll down. If I'm thinking of someone and then I get a message, chat, or call from them, is that just coincidence or is it something more as it feels more? Yeah, that's usually not just coincidence. That can be a combination of things. It can either be a connection between people. If you're picking up on people like that, then you're picking up on them at the same you're on the same frequency, you're on the same wavelength. Okay. So this can happen both in desired and undesired ways, right? I remember when I first started experiencing that, Lois, as a child, I would often pick up on other people's programs. So I might start to feel like super sad or super heavy about something or super frustrated about something, emotions I hadn't really had yet. And it turns out I was picking up on other people, like friends' moms or this and that. And as time went by, I started to learn and discern when it was my feelings and when it was about me and when I was picking up on someone else's program. So you being naturally intuitive, Lois, in this case, it's not this, but I'm going to use this as an example anyway. Okay. Just so that you know for next time, this can just be you picking up on someone else's program because you're tuned in and you're on that frequency. Just like a lot of times, if we're outside of a situation, but we know someone, we'll pick up on information for them or for their loved one. We're on the same wavelength, but we're not too involved, right? That's one thing. And then the other thing can be is that those people are thinking of each other, or they're just on the same wavelength. Tell them you're sorry.
Can we leave at 6:30?
Tell them you're on the same wavelength, and you're picking up on them, and then you're wondering about it, and you're getting an answer. So in this case, Lois, you're saying as it feels like more. I would have to validate that for you and say that, yeah, it's definitely not just coincidence. Okay. My mom and I have that very strongly. Like if I'm at the barn and she's calling me, I always know within 30 seconds to a minute of her calling, I have either thought, oh, I need to call mom, or, oh, she's going to call. Sometimes that, oh, I need to call mom means she's going to call. And I've learned to interpret that. Okay. So keep practicing that, Lois, and you're going to get better at that. Okay. If you join our Awakening Your Intuition program, we get into that a lot, and you have a lot of opportunities to really practice this. Guys, you want to practice this stuff in everyday life. This is how you get better at it. Okay. Let me get down to the rest of your question. These are so fun. All right. Also, is it the same with attracting or connecting with a lot of people and therefore souls and energies? Is that my personality or different? Yeah, so some personalities have more of, I wouldn't call it personality. I would just say some people have more of an inkling to do that. If they are, if they have some water in their chart, like they have a water sign, moon, sun sign, or Mercury, they often tend to pick up on those things more. If they choose to acknowledge these things and then they practice it, you go where your focus is. So the more you do these types of things and you recognize them, the stronger they become. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, it can be a different experience with one or two people versus connecting with a lot of people. But if you're talking about a lot of people as individuals, yes. And I would use this as practice. Okay. So yes, souls and energies. Absolutely. So it is their soul and their energy. Just because that's who makes us up as a person, right? And some of them you're going to resonate with more than others. A lot of times it might be because you guys are engaging at the same frequency. Sometimes it may just be because of the soul that they are, and at other times it might be because of where they are in their life and how that is in sync with you. Okay. And again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's your personality. I would say it's your traits and your focus on your intuition. Let's say you decided that you were like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm done. I don't want to pay attention to these things. You could start ignoring that and then not have to necessarily deal with that, right? But I remember trying that years ago, being curious as to what would it be like to just be living a two-dimensional life. And I got bored real quick. Once you're living a broader dimension than that, Lois, it's very hard to, you can't really be in alignment and backtrack and go back. Okay. So I would go with it and definitely practice it. Don't get distracted by it. But when you acknowledge and practice it, then you also begin to read all these signs and messages, and your intuition gets a lot stronger. Okay. Okay. Great questions. All right, let's see who else we have here. Let's get to some more mediumship. You're welcome, Lois. Great to see you. I love it when you're on here. I have a cat who's crashing the heck out of my furniture. Kaz, that's great. Keep trying to talk to them. That's fantastic. Yeah, I get that. You don't think you'd be able to ignore it? Yeah. No, I wasn't either. I tried hard. Experiment and failed. Okay. I see you, Rosie. We're getting to you. So, what I will say, Kaz, is if you want to, I know you're saying talk to your angel. You have more than one angel. But if you're interested in learning more about this and the difference between your angels and spirit guides, I still have a couple spaces left on my Meet Your Spirit Guides, July 18th. I'm going to put my email in here. Oops, wrong email. Larkin's Readings at gmail.com. You can just type spirit guides to that email, and then make sure you save my email to your contacts so you don't miss anything. It's an absolutely free event. I only take a few people at a time, and that's going to be July 18th. If you want to be a part of that, get validation, learn your spirit guides, learn who they are, learn how they communicate with you, and that sort of thing. Okay. I'm going to send that to you your way. That will also help you with your connection with your angels. Okay. All right. So I'm going to set back up here too. Here we go. I know you're still here, Rosie, because you just asked about it. Rosie, you want to connect with your granddad? Okay. All right. So I'm asking your granddad to come through. There are lots and lots of souls here. There always are. Keep in mind, sometimes the first soul that comes through or the first couple is not the person you're waiting for. Sometimes they have to clear a path or create a resonance with me or with you. They do come with you, however, though, guys. And guys, don't forget, if you like this, make sure you give this a like or a heart so more people can find it. Make sure you post in the comments if you feel like this is helping you and how it is helping you. It really helps me to see how this audience is benefiting from this, okay? Let's connect with your granddad here. So some souls, I use all of my clairs, guys. And right now, I just feel a presence of his energy moving forward, but we still need to validate that it's his energy. Sometimes it's other energies that come through forward first. I'm not getting a clear visual on him, but I'm feeling his moving forward. There's a really kind, warm, safe, gentle presence that is moving up into my vicinity of awareness. Oh, Rosie, you share the page with family and friends. Aw, awesome. I don't know which page that is, but that's wonderful. Yeah, Kels, it is cool, isn't it? As he gets closer, I see this energy and this figure reaching out. The symbolism here is that he would want to grab your hand and pull you into a hug. Now, let's make sure we have the that energy and that feeling is definitely feeling that I'm getting from him. But let's start to validate who he was as a person. And you can just say yes or no to me to make sure we have the right person, Rosie. The gentleman that's starting to come into image for me has like khakis on that looks like they would be gardening pants. Looks like they would have been pants for being outdoors. His energy is one of peace, of joy, of love for his family. And I see right now as he moves forward, there's a background. And again, you can just validate yes or no. There's a background of nature that is beginning to appear to me, accompanying him, which again validates his being dressed just for being outside, his love of being outdoors and in nature. That was something he really wanted to share with you because he says that it brought him peace. Now, I believe that. Being out in nature really validates your peace. You are nature. So if you resonate with that, it gives you inner peace. That's something that he wanted you to have. He's showing me he felt that through the turmoil in life that you needed that, and that's such a simple way. He's showing me he liked to build the foundation of his life on simplicity and peace and not make things too complicated. That's what he's showing me. He's showing me you when you were younger, how he would wrap his arms around you and pull you in a hug. And I'm being made to feel this sense of just unconditional love and peace and joy that he was able to give you in his hugs. And I'm also being shown and getting the feeling of him enjoying you being interested in things that he would do, following him around, watching him work on projects, being curious and interested about things that he was doing, and really in awe of things that he was doing, even though to him they were just normal things. Okay. He's giving me this feeling of the two of you being very, very close. I'm going to scroll over here and see if this resonates with you. I like to share this stuff, guys, before I look at what you're saying, but I do want to get that validation from you to see if it resonates with you. Yes, yes, he was always outdoors. Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. Definitely, I miss him so bad. He was painting. Mm-hmm. He was like my dad. Yep. Aw. So I think what you know, Rosie, already is how much he wants the very best for you, how much he wants you to be joyful, how much he doesn't want you to be sad. But he keeps saying the most important thing he really wanted to show and give you was how to ultimately, through the turmoil of life, find peace. And I keep hearing this question, do you have peace? Do you know where and how to find peace? If you think your answer is no, Rosie, he's showing me yes, because he's showing me he showed you. He handed you that key. He handed you that path. Okay. And he just keeps saying to me, for you, do you know how to find peace? He showed you. He said he showed you. So in the things that he did, in the time he spent alone, in the time he spent doing his own projects that gave him peace, in the time he spent in nature, in the time he spent listening and observing what others did, not always jumping right in and engaging, in his trusting, number 5, of his own decisions. In those ways, he showed you. And it may be a while, Rosie, for you to sort of put together a compilation of all the lessons that he showed you. But the love and intention that I feel from him for you, for that, is so strong. I don't know that I've ever experienced such a poignant series of intentional lessons that a parent or grandparent tried to pass on to someone that they would be leaving in this world as this. He literally embodied what he knew would allow you to have a joyful, peaceful life. And as a mindset and manifesting coach, I can tell you, your life reflects who and what you are. So because he wants you to have joy and peace and love, he showed you how to get it. Now, I know those things don't seem like they could possibly give you that, but they can and they do. If you listen to any of the great teachers, if you listen to Eckhart Tolle, if you listen to Dr. Wayne Dyer, if you listen to any of these people, you will see that what he showed you, if you practice, will give you that. Okay? I teach a lot of that stuff in my programs. If you decide that you want to schedule a discovery call with me, which is an absolutely free call, it is not a sales call. I may invite you to work with me if I think you're a good fit, but my main goal is to help people not feel lost. And I see you say you feel lost all the time. It's to give you the next 3 steps that you need to do to feel unstuck and unlost. Okay? That's what it is. With you, chances are I would recommend some books and some practices for you to do to get back in alignment with what he did. So if you want to schedule that, I only do so many of those a week. You're welcome to do that if you like. You just have to email me at larkinsreadings@gmail.com. Before I go into my next reading, guys, I'm also going to post this school account in here. I'm having my clients from other platforms and my followers hop in here. It's a free platform. We're going to start having everything from free events and courses up to high paid coaching in there. So there's a whole variety. If you want support that includes both mindset, manifesting, and spiritual and metaphysical work and support, okay? It's a community of people that shares in all of that, because science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. You are a whole being, and you need to nurture and acknowledge the whole aspect of yourself. Okay? All right. So, Rosie, thank you for letting me read for you. I'm going to send you off with your granddad. He's just a lovely, lovely soul. I really enjoyed reading for him. Thank you for letting me read for you. All right. I see you, Sarah Jane. All right. Hold on, guys. Let me scroll back up here. Let's see. Eva, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here, Eva, please. Eva, are you still there? I always like to make sure you all are here before I start reading for you, because sometimes people get busy, they have to leave, they get bored of whatever I'm doing, and they take off. And then I've taken somebody else's spot to read for someone who's not even here. So I want to make sure you're here. Let's see here. Eva. I see you, Sarah Jane. I've got you starred, honey. Eva, yay, you're there. You're welcome, Rosie. Go ahead and join the school community. That way you can keep up to date with everything. All the events and all that kind of stuff. And then you connect with people that are going through similar things, okay? You can just follow that school link. Okay. All right. Will I move apartments in near the next 6 months in Sweden, or will I stay where I'm living for a longer time? Okay, sorry, I have to take your English and my English and translate there. Okay. So I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to answer your question, okay? Lois says the discovery call is so helpful. Get booked on if you feel interested. Aw, thank you, Lois. I'm so glad it was helpful. It's super fun for me too. It's a great way to get people clarity for free. So I want to say this so that you all register with this, and then I'm going to answer your question, okay? I believe that readings need to evolve big time. The one reader I see that is really doing that right now is John Edwards. He is promoting that. I was never a fan of his until I started noticing years ago. I started seeing he was doing that too. And that was really validating to me, because although I'm going to go ahead and ask your guides and I'm going to read what I see for you, I want you guys to understand that nothing is set in stone. If a reader tells you things are set in stone, they are wrong. That is not true. Okay? Nothing can happen without your free will. Things can always change. when I answer a question like this, Eva, which is a psychic question, not a mediumship question, mediumship is a type of psychic work. In other words, you can be a psychic and not a medium, but you can't be a medium and not a psychic. Okay. And you all have this ability. You all have it. So you can tune into your intuition, Eva, and see what you feel about this. But what you need to understand is that when I answer this question, what I see is the most likely, that's where the strongest energy and direction is going, right here in front of my third eye. And then I see tiered off, next likely, okay, on either side of me. And then the farther away the images get, the outcomes get, the least likely it is. That means the least energy momentum that outcome has. Okay. I personally don't believe that we're supposed to know what's going to happen unless we get our own intuition. And the reason is because it can change what we're doing, and it sort of defeats the purpose of being incarnated in the physical and not knowing. Okay. The problem with the human ego is always trying to protect itself and stay alive and not get hurt. And so we only feel secure when we think we know what's going to happen. But here's a big shocker for you from Spirit. And I think this is important. Everybody know this. Spirit shared this with me years ago, and I totally agree with it. Think about the things that you are most certain about, that you were absolutely 100% sure about. I had a friend years ago who was dating a guy. She dated him from high school. She dated him for years. And she was always telling everybody, oh, I got this guy begged. And at one point, her dad said to her, really, do you? Are you sure? I don't think you got him begged. I think he's going to break up with you. And she was like, no, I got him begged. She was sure. I mean, she had the wedding dress picked out. She had the honeymoon plans. She came home from a vacation and he'd moved out. So even the things that make us feel secure, that we think are for sure going to happen, and maybe we've been so sure about it that it even covers up or fogs what a psychic sees. And we've been told, oh yeah, this is going to happen. Guys, things can always change. Okay. And the most important thing you can do is trust that it's for the better and trust your intuition. So I'm going to say this to you, Eva, take it for what you will, take it or leave it. It is the questions that you ask are way more important than the answers that you want. In other words, you might not care what the outcome of this answer is. But my point is that we're all so busy trying to get the answers and trying to know. But what the questions we ask are actually guiding us in a more powerful direction. Okay? So the question really isn't, will you move or will you stay longer? That's a disempowered question. That question is giving your power away and saying, I'm asking an outside source. I'm asking the universe what's going to happen. That means life is happening to you. And the irony is, Eva, and we all do this, it's not just you, so I'm not picking on you. I'm so glad you asked this. And it's one of the reasons why Spirit had me choose you. The real question is, what are you choosing? Because the outcome to this answer has everything to do with the little choices that you are making, your belief system, which is repeated thoughts, your expectations, your self-limiting beliefs, and what you are envisioning for the next 1, 3, 5 years of your life. Okay? You have some habits, Eva, not necessarily good or bad. You have some habits that keep you in places longer than you'd like to be. We typically determine the speed in which we progress. Okay. It's either we're not getting out of our comfort zone, we're indecisive, we're not making choices with enough confidence, right? Confidence comes from experience, but we're procrastinating, we're not making choices. Or we're waiting to make the right choice. We're afraid of making the wrong choice, right? And so when we're afraid of making the wrong choice, there is no wrong choice. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we get ourselves tangled up in fear. And you might not think it's fear because we're only aware of 5% of our mind. This 95% of our subconscious mind, our ego, that's the part you're not aware of. So when you're asking me this question, immediately myself, your spirit guides are like, let's stuff the power back to Eva. We want you to have the power. So you should be asking yourself, what do I want? Do you want to move in 6 months, Eva? Or do you feel intuitively that if you stay a little bit longer, an even better place will come? Because if you're in a hurry and you rush things, that might not be as beneficial as if you patiently waited. So here's what your spirit team is saying to me, okay? Because what I see right now, the way it's panning out right now, I see you moving in 9 to 12 months, not 6 months, okay? Now, I put zero value on a prediction, zero. As a skeptical psychic, I don't trust anyone to read for me, okay? As a skeptical psychic, I know very clearly what I see. And right now I see you moving in 9 to 12 months. But here's the more important thing that I see. If you learn to step into your power and instead of asking what's going to be happening, you instead say, hey, this is what I want. These are the habits that are holding me back and stalling things. And I'm going to take a risk and make some clear choices that I'm kind of uncertain about. Things will happen naturally on their own and fall into place. No, I think that's a much more powerful answer than when are you going to leave? Am I making a big dramatic deal about this in order to make it a lesson for everyone? Yes. Because the most important things we hear in live readings aren't in our own reading. They're listening to somebody else's instead of wondering when it's our turn. Okay. So this is really important. Let's see what you said here. There's nothing to hold you where you live now. Okay. So you can just choose, then you can start looking or you can start choosing. It really comes down to what do you want, right? I don't see that there's anything holding you where you are either. What I see is that there's this opportunity for the empowerment of discovering that you're the only, you're the one, you're the factor, you're the choice, right? Absolutely. That's great. You follow your manifestations. Okay. Well, you are creating your manifestations. You're creating them. So it is a reflection of you. Okay. So if then you can move on then right away. You can move on. And instead of saying, will I move? You can say, I will be moving. I will be moving in the next 6 months. Or I think I'd like to stay here a little longer. Okay. Which negates the entire need for the question. I love it. Keep us posted. Keep us posted. I love it. Let's see. I'll get to you. Let's see. Let's see. Either we don't know right away and each comes with a risk, but we choose everything or at least awareness with it, or we should. Yeah. So we're not in control of everything, right? Obviously, we're not in control of everything. We can't control factors outside of ourselves, but everything in our life does happen from us and is a reflection from us. So any shift that we want to make, especially like, simple questions like, will I be moving? I mean, I get that question so often. And I always find that question amusing because the response that always comes back from spirit is, do they want to move? When are they choosing to move? And sometimes we don't decide the exact time, but we make a clear decision and then everything falls in place as soon as things open up, right? So that's very important. So I think that's good insight, Lois. And we don't know either way. Each comes with a risk. Yes. Sorry. And guys, I love that too, that you mentioned should. So let's see. The should part, I think that's a debatable term. There isn't always a should, right? It's not so much a should, it's what do we choose and how is that falling in alignment with the universe? Is our soul giving permission for that? And how does that fit into the factors that we have already established in our lives, right? So I think we often look at should. Should is relative according to the outcome that we want. So we might say, if I want to get the best deal on a new car of this particular brand and model, then maybe I should have waited 3 months. The should really fits in there, right? But it's should I have gone this path or that path? I mean, either way, it usually comes back around. One just might be longer than the other. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. I have a wee bit of time left, and then I have to get ready to go out to dinner with my family who's in town. So I need to get a couple of these mediumship readings in that Spirit is wanting me to do. Guys, don't forget, if you like this and you find it valuable, pop in the comments why it's valuable to you so that I know, and give it a like or a heart so more people can find Veronica's page, more people can find my page. Don't forget, if you guys want to join me on school for all sorts of cool, fun stuff coming up, you can follow this link. I have all my lives and events and everything that I'm now posting on that calendar. All right. Anything from my parents or grandparents who is named after, my intuition has always been very strong. Awesome. Okay. Your intuition, guys, by the way, is the voice of your soul. So you really want to listen to it, because typically your thoughts cover it up. Your thoughts block and cover your voice. Okay, the voice of your soul. And the voice of your soul is always going to be sharing the same guidance and wisdom that your spirit guides are. Okay. It's privy to the same bits of information. All right. Outside of space and time. So let's see if your parents and grandmother are there. Well, they're always there. I'll put it that way. Let's see if they come through for me and how they come through. Let's see here. Let's make sure this is them. It looks like them all three moving forward together. So I'm going to share some random things. Sarah, you can just say yes or no and verify that this relates to one or more of them. And keep in mind, if Spirit is adamant about something and you say no, I'm going to say adamant about it because I trust Spirit. And oftentimes the most important parts of a reading happen after we get off. Sometimes people get off and they go look for the picture that was described, or they go look for the items, or they ask a relative and then they find that those things were there. When that happens, I'd love it if you come back and tell me, okay? Because this is every bit as exciting to me and amazing to me as it is to you guys, all right? So, first of all, I'm being shown cigarettes. So someone close or in the family who smokes. I'm being shown a gold bracelet that looks like it has almost, they're not coins, but almost flat coin shape, round little, like on the chain, round little, it's like the chain and then the little round pieces of metal, and then more chain, and then another little round piece of metal, and it's gold. I'm being shown this. I'm being shown, let me ask you, hold on a second. I'm being shown seashells. And I'm asking if this is literal or if this is symbolic. The seashells. It looks like perhaps it's both. Perhaps one or more of the three of them spent some time near an ocean or a beach, relates to at least one of them closely somehow. So I'm also being shown 3 wedding rings. You can just say yes or no. Oh, Sarah. 3 wedding rings, women's wedding rings, not just 2. So that could either mean that your mom or your grandmother were married twice, or one of them had 2 rings. Maybe it's not a wedding ring. Maybe it's another special band like that. But it's representative of or significant as a wedding ring. And I'm seeing 3 of those for the 2 among or between the 2 women. Maybe it was one that was passed down. These are just items there. Everybody comes through differently, guys. These guys are showing me these items. Your grandma looks very darling. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. I see you, Kels. We'll get to you. Sarah says yes. Okay, these are making sense. Okay, good. They like to, and I think you recognize this, Sarah Jane. They like to support you together. They like to come together in the astral plane in their dreams with you. You guys also visit the beach a lot.
What? No. I made reservations briefly for 11 minutes.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to process what they're trying to show me. They spend a lot of time with you. So is it, hi, Melissa. You got to go. I got it, Melissa. I'm going to have to go in a few minutes too. Come back and see me on Friday or Monday, Melissa. We'll get to you then. Thank you for stopping by. So there's a very strong connection, Sarah. A strong soul connection with you and your grandmother. And your souls know one another very well. You do spend a lot of time in the astral plane, but she's not one of your technical spirit guides, because that's not how that works. But she has spent your life guiding you and being very close to you. Who is the woman that has the reddish tone to her hair, Sarah? I'm seeing a woman with a reddish tone to her hair. And I'm also seeing that your family did a good job of keeping your grandmother's memory, and not just her memory, but like her soul presence alive in your world for you. She kept your, like, almost as though she was really there. They really, so in other words, you grew up feeling like you knew her, and your family did a really good job of that. Hi, Natalie. Let's see if this is making any sense to you. Oh, you look like her. Aw. That's amazing. Oh, there's a very strong soul connection there. Some had red hair. Okay. So they're just saying and showing me red hair. Typically, what that means to me, I'm asking them in sign conversation. Again, these are just different forms of validation. Sometimes they'll just list a bunch of things to share for validation that I wouldn't know. And, you know, it's not just the three of them that are present with you there. It's, you know, you come from, they're all, you guys are all a part of a soul family, and that's not uncommon, right? So they're showing me an extension of that soul family as well, and that they're all there supporting you, very much so. They don't want you to feel lonely. So if you're feeling as relatives slip away and move on and cross over, they don't want you to feel lonely. They want you to know that you're always surrounded and you always have that support. They're also showing me they're also showing me a box of pictures. Like not a bag, not a folder, but like a box that has like a lid on it. And you can get a lot of energy through that. And they're showing me a little like thin chained necklace with something very tiny and very old on the bottom. Like not on the bottom, but hooked on the chain. It's very little. It's a lovely chain, probably about this long. It has a little something on it down here. And these are just forms of validation for you. It's being recommended, Sarah, and I think that you already try to make these connections, especially if your intuition is strong. Okay. Tom, I'll be there in a couple minutes, honey. They want to help you learn to practice connecting with them in a more clear way. You can channel and direct that intuition by writing and journaling to them. Okay, because in practicing being able to distinguish each of them, you're going to be able to see like some of your greater family members, like just family in general, will speak to you sort of as one voice. But your parents and your grandma will speak to you more individually. And as you start journaling, you're going to be able to start recognizing who is speaking and being able to trust that it's them and not just your intuition. Okay. There's a lot of guidance, a lot of peace, a lot of support on the other side. And they're showing me that you can feel that, but sometimes you can't break down the details. Okay. And so one of the reasons they want you to do the writing is because you're going to be able to start breaking down the details. Okay. All right, Sarah Jane. Thank you for letting me read for you. Guys, I need to get to, hi, Perry. Hello. So guys, I want to do this because my husband is waiting for me. I'm going to be, I promised I would be done here. Kels, what I would like to do is spend a little more time with you than the 2 minutes that I have. Guys, I'm sorry that I don't run through faster, but I'm actually very thorough, and I kind of went through a few of these faster than I wanted to. Lois says, I appreciate all the time you put into these lives, Larkin. We really are lucky to have you. You've helped me in understanding and resonating and knowing. Oh, I'm so glad, Lois. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for that. I do take time to do these, guys. What I would like to do, I always go beyond, Brenda. Yes, I can't help myself. This is what needs to happen here. So I appreciate all of you being patient. Kels, I really want to get to you, but I don't want to rush it. Hi, Sharon Lewis. Welcome. Louise, Sharon Louise. You have 2 boxes in your house, Sarah Jane. Yes. Awesome. Well, that's what they're showing me. So I love when this validation comes out. What I'd like to do, Sarah Jane, I'm going to send you with your family. There are a few more people wanting readings, but I do have to go. You just missed out on a reading last time. You did, Sharon. You did. So I'll tell you what. If you guys come tomorrow, Friday is Furball Friday. But if Kelsey and Sharon Louise and whoever else wanted a reading, if you guys come on Friday, I will open up some time to do more than just animal readings. I will go ahead and allow you guys to do non-animal readings as well. And we will catch up and finish this then. Until then, if you guys make sure you like this, make sure you go to my school and join our school community there. We're going to be doing so many amazing and cool things in there coming this year. So if you go and join us there, you'll join a like-minded community and you'll have more opportunities for things like this, okay? Don't forget, if you'd like a free discovery call to get the next 3 steps of what you need to do to feel unstuck, you can email me at larkinsreadings@gmail.com. Also, if you want to join the Meet Your Spirit Guides, same thing. I will see you all Friday at the same time for Furball Friday. And like I said, I will fit in the other readings for you all then as well, okay? Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night. I'll see you soon.